Welcome to Hidden Squids Gaming.
This video is going to be about two enemies, a standard enemy that can be found in every dungeon and the Swine Heaver which can be found in the Warrens. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, they're also known as Swine Wretch, Swine Spawn, and Swine Heaver. They're the guys with the longer arms and they usually sit in the back row. Their HP is 23, but to make up for their low HP, they have a dodge of 34 and a speed of 10. Which means most likely they're going to go before you, and they're also probably going to dodge at least one attack depending on your hero's accuracy for that dungeon. Their stun resistance at Swine Heaver is 50%, Blight is 80%, Bleed is 50%, Debuff is 55%, and their move is 40%. Their only attack is actually Vomit, which is good and bad. The reason why it's bad is because they're going to use it every time, and there's a 33% chance of that ability adding any disease. Not all diseases are bad, but some are definitely significantly worse than the others. Also, it does 10 stress, which isn't massive at all, and also decreases your dodge chance. So between the dodge and the disease, that's the more painful part, because it only does 1 to 3 damage, so it's really not adding too much damage, but we're lucky it does do damage, because that means we can riposte it, unlike other stress damaging abilities. So when I start a fight, I usually focus Swine Heavers if there's not another enemy that needs to be taken care of first. In the video, I try to show a large array of how you can kill Swine Heavers, but my main go-to is just to out-damage them, and this is either by going first, bleed, or riposting. There is ways you can pull them and also stun them, which you'll see. This is very familiar to the Cultist Witch. I'm going to have a lot of Swine Heavers in this, and you can see different ways to take care of them, and you can prove for yourself. I don't really like keeping Swine Heavers alive, as I've said before, due to all the things they can do. So you'll always see me focusing them either as the first or second individual.
Onslaught. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
The reason why I picked the Swine Heaver and the Cultist Witch in the same video is because they're very reminiscent of one another in their abilities and their role in the enemy lineup. Neither are meant to really do great damage to your party, but they're there to mess up your party in different ways. Obviously, the Swine Heaver can give you diseases that really can cripple your party throughout the rest of the dungeon run, while the Cultist Witch is more geared towards adding a lot of stress, reducing the torch, or pushing you or pulling you forward, and those are really something that can throw off a party composition if you're not ready for it. Before we go too far in, the Cultist Witch stats is an HP of 25, a dodge of 34, and a speed of 9, very reminiscent to the Swine Heaver. The resistances are also fairly close, with a stun of 65%, blight of 60%, bleed of 60%, debuff of 80%, and a move of 50%. With that being said, the strengths of this is obviously high speed, high dodge, and massive stress damage to the party. And as we said before, the weaknesses are very reminiscent of the Swine Heaver in the fact that they have low HP and resistances, which means they can be moved, stunned, or killed quickly with high accuracy. The ways we take care of Swine Heavers is pretty much the same way we're going to take care of Cultist Witches. It's just with Swine Heavers we can sometimes leave them alone a little longer because their array of abilities is not nearly as in-depth as the Cultist Witch. And then they have Eldritch Pull and Eldritch Push, which is either pulling someone forward to or pushing someone back to, and this also adds about 8 stress. This can really hurt a party, but I usually prefer them to do the push or pull because I seem to resist those more than just a straight up 20 stress you get, minus the 10 torch. So like the Swine Heavers, you can stun them, pull them forward, or just simply burst them down before they get a chance to go. This works at most levels in the game, and like the Swine Heaver, they have a rather high dodge and speed, so you may not always go first, but if you don't allow them to have a second round, that's usually good enough to save your party. Some individuals I think are really good against Cultist Witches is the Houndmaster, Hellion, Occultist, Arbalist, Highwayman, and Grave Robber for your damage approach. If you want to pull the individual forward for your other hitters, definitely a bounty hunter or occultist are strong picks. And the occultist can also do the damage roll if you want them to, which is really nice. It's a 2 birds with 1 stone scenario. Of course, then if you're going to stun the individual, you have stuns from the Plague Doctor. Even the occultist can stun, once again a very good choice, Vestal or the Houndmaster. Or what you can finally do is accept the fact that these characters are always going to go before you and have some nice stress heals in your party. This can either be in a Crusader, a Jester, or a Houndmaster with Cry Havoc. Even a Man-at-Arms can be beneficial because of his ability to bolster the party to take less stress damage or increase your dodging chance. If Cultist Witches give you a problem, just try to focus in one of these areas. Don't try to do a mixture of all 3. It's definitely possible. If you're struggling, I would definitely say try a Houndmaster, a Hellion, or an Occultist, because they can hit the back row reliably and their accuracy tends to be pretty high. If you want to play more of a utility lineup, the Plague Doctor is amazing with his stuns and can definitely give you at least a turn or 2 more by stunning the individual with his multi-stun in the back row there. Next video we're going to be looking at the Fusilier and the Fungal Scratcher. Let me know what you thought of this video. I'm going to be making a couple more of these based on enemy types and how you can possibly deal with them as you encounter them in the Darkest Dungeon. Thanks for watching.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.